Hi, I'm Jules from the Haynes Collection, and this is our series Sustainable Interiors, where we chat to businesses who are bringing you more environmentally friendly options when designing and sourcing for your home. Last week, we spoke to James from Parkside, who has beautiful architectural tiles. He talked to us about all the sustainable options and things that you can bring into your home to make it more environmentally friendly. So I hope you enjoy it. I certainly would not say that.
I was going to say, actually, I've got the old lilac on, haven't I?
Can I ask you about the Barnaby Gates ones? Because
of course.
I love Barnaby Gates.
And
the making. Yes, exactly.
It's different. You don't get a thrill like it.
Hi, I'm Jules from the Haynes Collection, and today we're with James from Parkside to talk about the beautiful tile range that they have here, and specifically the tiles that incorporate recycled elements. So thank you for joining us today. Take me right back to the beginning.
Taking it down right back to the basics,
Yeah.
Tiles are baked pieces of clay. So the earliest form of it would have been called terracotta, which you use in your houses, and still a long-standing tradition over the last few hundred years been used for Mediterranean design as well, so with glazes and they add glass to them, etc. Well, in the last 50 years or so, technologies have progressed to call these porcelains, and the porcelain that we currently view and use on sort of big architectural, commercial projects, people's residential houses, swimming pools, etc., is porcelain. It's a grade of ceramic and a grade of terracotta, effectively.
When we talk about tiles containing recycled elements, how does that work, and what are those?
Earliest form of any sort of covering was stone, and then you carve the stone out of the mountain, you try and cut bricks, or you cut slabs or tiles, and the waste of this we use as mosaics.
And so these are really interesting. I love all the different textures and stuff like this. Are these recycled as well? Or?
Yeah, so these have got about 40% recycled content.
Okay.
These are 3 times glazed materials, which gives really decorative, sort of embossed look and feel, but if you can come up with a design, you can incorporate that into the tile as well.
That's really interesting. And can I ask you about the Barnaby Gates ones? Because
of course.
I love Barnaby Gates. They obviously are known for textile and wallpaper design, but what have they done here to create this?
Yes, we've got a collaboration with Barnaby Gates. You have to use something more durable if you're going to put it in the kitchen area perhaps, or a bathroom. We started a collaboration with them to use and license some of their designs onto porcelain tiles. Again, 40% recycled content, and effectively you're replacing would-be wallpaper with a wallpaper design and wallpaper fashion. Actually, it's something which got really intricate detailing and get these fantastically sort of flamboyant designs, which we absolutely love.
Again, they're great.
You can, in theory, again have a design element to it, up to a floor or wall, which has got recycled content.
With the recycling element, I know that there are some materials, for example, paper, that the more you recycle it, the more that it breaks down and loses its sort of usability, durability. Is that the same with tiles?
That's a good question, actually. I don't think we've got to the point where we've reused the same tiles 2 or 3 times as well.
Needed to,
Porcelain itself is highly durable. It's stronger than stone. It's scratch resistant than stone. It's more temperature resistant. In theory, yes, you can. If you can incorporate it into another production, then fantastic as well. There's the element is actually that's problem is really the adhesive on the back, but in theory you can, and a lot of the recycled content in our materials is actually pre-consumer waste, which would have been raw materials been coming out of the ground, clays, creolins, etc., feldspars, but actually it's used from parts of the production that weren't quite the right quality, and they get reincorporated. And some of the factories reincorporate waste from other factories as well. Other factories who don't have the technology to incorporate their own waste into their production, that can then be purchased and made use of, which would then go into landfill. Our ethos is about promoting sustainability, and that is our major driving focus. We've got an in-house sustainability council that's been present for 3 or 4 years, and that's incorporated studies from students to scrutinise our supply chain, manufacturing processes, and really drill into what we do as a business in every single angle, and not purely the recycled content. That's a huge element of it, but actually that's probably the easiest thing to sort of number and sort of state is actually that. But going into our lighting in our studios and our factories, how we transport, how we sort of make our pallets that we put materials on, having recycled packaging for samples that we send out, making that recyclable, having a service where we'll accept back samples to recycle again and use again. there was always been a desire to be sustainable, and funnily enough, that period of the last 2 years, it was always a question that was asked after the material was specified, not before. And now it seems to be a trend that is asked before product specified.
Yeah.
It's part of the design process and thinking. And I think that's driven by economic and client pressures and investor pressures, but also the morals of people and clients as well. So big businesses who invest, and that feeds down to the high street and individuals. I think everyone's looking to make better choices. I think there's a two-way street. I don't think it's. I think we're here to lead, and I'm very comfortable in saying that we lead the market in sustainable options and technologies and looks and feels, and the industry desires it. Everyone would like to be more moral and would like to be more ethical and sustainable, and it's not just materials for projects. It's what you wear, it's what you eat, it's the car you drive, it's everything.
I totally agree, and it is an exciting time. You guys make it really easy to make those choices.
It's so important, actually. That's the thing. We work on a big range of projects, and we work on individual people's homes and bathrooms and kitchens, and then we work on huge schemes where it's thousands and tens of thousands of metres, and if we didn't have something genuinely that was compatible for that project budget-wise, if it needs to be under £20 a square metre and 40% recycled content, that for me ticks every single box for a project. That's the Alicia. That's exactly where people need to be aiming, actually. And now there's no excuse not to. There's a bit of a myth out there that sustainability should cost more, and that's a question I get asked constantly. Does it cost more? Why should I pay extra for some extra recycling? Well, you don't. You can go to a certain point on the webpage. Our website, you can actually filter the sustainable content you want, the percentage. So you can pick the product you want that ticks the box.
And do you think that's the future of tiles, that they will always be?
It has to be. It has to be. That technology, what I was talking about, actually is, I can't overstate it, to be honest. It wasn't possible to make ceramics with high recycled content a few years ago because you couldn't make a stable product physically.
So let's say I've done my bathroom, I've had it for 10 years, I'm bored of the tiles. You mentioned it's the adhesive at the moment. The grouting
is the same, and the grout as well. The grout will come off a lot easier. It's bonded to the side of the tiles. It's like,
and what's grout made out of?
Cement mostly, and sand. A year ago, I found out someone like sustainable conversation. As the architect was telling me about the shortage of sand. I was like, "Are you joking? We're not going to run out of sand, surely." I looked into it. It's a real thing. Sand is being used up in construction. It's one of the main construction elements that we have. Sand is a major component of grout and adhesive, cement, etc. So we went to the raw manufacturing and processing plants that supply these global manufacturers, and we developed a grout and adhesive system which has 40% recycled glass instead of sand. So we use post-consumer glass as opposed to raw natural sand. Probably the lesser evil of everything is actually to reuse it in construction materials, because so much sand is used in construction. So
absolutely.
Remaking new bottles is great, but actually I think construction is the biggest evil to sort of stem out, isn't it? Really?
Exactly. How easy is it to get off the grout and get off the glue?
It's not to be. Actually, it's designed to stick. Grout's easier to remove. That's not adhesive. Is obviously designed to adhere. So naturally, it's if it's doing its job correctly, it's hard to get off. And that's the major challenge we have in the next step of circularity in terms of using these building materials. At the point we can remove the adhesive in a clean manner, then we can use post-consumer tiles. Other than that, you look at ways you can reinstall them. So there's been cork-back tiles that have been around for a while. There's Velcro back tiles, which it sounds nuts, but it hasn't really taken off, as you can imagine. But it can do a job. You don't want something that possibly weighs 30 kilos hanging above your head using Velcro. Absolutely. I wouldn't be too comfortable with that. Again, it comes back to the lesser of all the evils. We know construction materials are going to be made with a lot of sand and cement. We know they're going to use adhesive on the wall, so we try and improve these elements we can until there's a much better system. Once we do it, then everyone else will do it, and it'll push everyone else, and it pushes technology. And it's the same with the tiles. As soon as we've got 50 ranges, which we do with 40% recycled content, then it puts pressure on everyone else to do the same. And as soon as we're putting pressure on manufacturing partners to say, we won't work with you unless you have cycled energy systems, circular water systems, you're producing your own solar power. You're using 25-40% of your own waste.
Yeah.
We won't work with you. Everyone else will do the same. So we're pushing ourselves. There's lots of innovators now, and you just can't fail to do it. You've got no excuse not to.
No, it's true. It's true.
And this is the 100% biodegradable material as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
this is something we've worked with and worked on for a little while actually. The technology's been in production and R&D for about 20 years. So these tiles haven't been chemically changed at all. So the composition of these is still 100% natural fibres and clay. And they're sealed with natural sealants as well. And at the end of their life, once you have removed the adhesive, you can leave these on the ground. The organic agricultural waste fibres biodegrade and the clay returns to clay.
That's so interesting. So the question that I always ask is, you're on a desert island, which product would you have to take with you?
Does it have to be my product?
Well, it has to sit within, Parkside, something.
Because if I was on a desert island, what I would actually take is our herb pencils. Because
because that's a good idea.
I would take, we've got
you
basil
could hide
sage.
one behind your ear, maybe I wouldn't notice.
The Christmas tree wouldn't be too useful, I imagine, for a while. But what would I take as a product? Well, I suppose I'd have to make a shelter. So probably one of the big format porcelain slabs. So I can
that's true.
Make a nice strong
I'll
roof.
let you have a few of those.
Yeah, that would be good. I can make a roof, but and it would look quite pretty as well,
Yeah.
quite organic. There's some of them that look like fossilised limestone, which looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the herb pencils. I love my food, and actually, I want to taste them. So the recycled timber herb pencils and with the seeds at the end, that'd be my first one.
Okay, great.
I should have said the product, but
no, he's happy with pencils.
I'll take that. No, I love the pencils.
Great.
Tiles are great, but you can't eat those.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do leave your feedback below. We'd love to hear what you think. And why not subscribe to the series, as there's more to come. Next week, we're chatting to Em from Move Over Magnolia Studio, who upcycles beautiful vintage glass. So I'll see you then.